At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax.
And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away.
And what was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it taken and lifted somewhere? From the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, a bold Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows.
Won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in the lurkum on top of the store. He lurks in his lurkum under the cold roof, where he makes his own clothes out of milk-muffed moof. And on the special dark midnight in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay.
On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have 2 tops, 15 cents, and a nail. The shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail.
Then he pulled out a pail, makes a most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount.
Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole, in this grimaless glove.
Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone.
Slurp, down slips the whisper of the phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have come down through a snurdly hose, and he sounds like he has smallish beads up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started back, such a long time back.
Way back in the day, when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still green, and the song of Swami Swans rang out space. One morning, I came to this place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored truss of the truffula trees. Mile after mile, the fresh morning breeze.
And under the trees I saw barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruit.
From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish, humming while splashing around.
But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much more softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterflies.
I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart.
In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down 1 truffula tree with 1 chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed.
The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him, that's hard. I don't know if I can.
He was shortish and oddish and brownish and mossy. He spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy.
Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I am asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?
Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just 1 tree, I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full thneed.
But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that thneed I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax, you poor stupid guy, you can never tell what some people will buy.
I repeat, cried the Lorax, you speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up if you please.
I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road at North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken. Sharp right at South Stitch.
And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs.
just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of the truffle trees.
Then, oh baby oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow.
So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore.
But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax, who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffle fruits."
Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruits to go around. And my poor barbaloots are getting crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies.
They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys! Cried, and we sent them away.
I, the once felt sad as I watched them go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know.
I meant no harm, I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons. I biggered my loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs. And I biggered my money, which everyone needs.
Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whifled, he sneezed and he snuffled, he snarled, he sniffled. "Once-ler," he cried with a querulous croak, "Once-ler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat."
And so, said the Lorax, "Please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off."
Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here.
What's more, snapped the Lorax as dander was up, let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on, day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup and schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old once-ler man you.
You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary.
And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs."
And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside the fields came sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard a tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all.
No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my car and drove away under the smoke-smothered stars.
Now all that was left in the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I.
The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just a very sad, backward glance, and he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself, took leave of this place, for a hole in the smog without leaving a trace.
And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks and the word unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. Where?
That was long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart.
But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is gonna get better. It's not.
So catch, calls the Onceler.
He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all.
You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula seed, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all his friends may come back.